Unite Win Podcast, episode 32. This week we sat down with Sanae Garcia, also known on Instagram as Sanae Kawaii of Dreamland Tattoo in Whittier, California. We talked tattooing in a recession. We talked the etiquette on stealing tattoos. We had a good time. We had some laughs, lots of stories to share with you. And I think this is a good one. So without further ado, let's just get in the episode 32, Sanae Kawaii.
When I was little, my mom used to always say tattoos are for men only, which I thought it was a real thing. And she probably actually pushed me into it. Like then when I found out tattoos could be for everyone, I was like, oh, this is fucking sick, right? So fast forward. One of my friends, I used to draw a lot in high school, and I drew a lot of what I thought was like, that's when Sailor Jerry Rum was out. So that was probably my first introduction to him. Seeing the pinups and shit. And I would draw what I thought were traditional pinups, traditional roses. And they probably looked like shit. But one of my friends was at the time, we were in high school, mind you. She was dating a guy that worked at a tattoo shop. Disgusting. Red flag. But I went with one of our friends to go get her first tattoo because she just turned 18. So they were fucking girls under 18, but they weren't tattooing.
Oh, fuck.
Crazy, right? And I'm like, yeah, this seems like a great environment for me.
Right.
So I went and one of my friends was getting the tattoo. They redrew it. And I was talking to them about art, and I was like, I want to be an apprentice. And admittedly, too, though, that was the year that all the tattoo shows were coming out.
What year was that?
2006.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So, because I started my apprenticeship at 17.
Whoa.
So from 17 to
So you're like
20.
going after school, or are you not going to school? How you doing?
I went after school for a little bit, and then I dropped out.
That's sick.
It was sick.
That is sick. That's
it
super
was
cool.
sick, but not to my mother.
Nah, fuck
but
that.
It was sick.
To me, like, that's the dream. Like, I'm like, this is cool, you know?
Yeah.
All right, go on.
So I dropped out of school. So I get this apprenticeship, or they told me to come back with artwork. And I didn't even think, like, I was such a child. I didn't even think, like, portfolio. Like, I came back with notebook paper and, like, drawing in the margins or, like, whatever.
It's something, yeah.
And so I specifically remember one of the drawings was a dagger with traditional roses.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so they give me a job. I worked there. First, I was going after school. After that semester ended, I dropped out and I never went back. And when my mentor was like, "Look, if you want to work here, you need to at least get your GED because This was a nice thing. He was like, nothing's promised. You don't know where life is gonna take you. So you're not touching a machine until you get your GED." So I went and got my GED.
So were you doing like some kind of online or night school, or you did the...
I know, I just went and I took the test, and it's really fucking easy. If you don't have your GED, you guys should try it.
Oh, shit. Mm-hmm. You think that he really meant that, or you think it just felt guilty, like bringing a minor into a tattoo shop? A little bit of both? Both could be true.
I think that maybe both. But I think he did mean that, but it didn't even fucking matter because my apprenticeship ended up being 3 years. I didn't touch a machine for 2 more years after that. So, like, I have literally left my apprenticeship. I was like, okay, enough's enough. 3 years is...
Yeah, it's never going to end.
You guys aren't going to graduate me. They still wouldn't give me walk-ins, and so...
So were you... What did that look like? Like, when did you get to make your first tattoo? They make you wait like a year, or how'd it go?
So, about a year into my apprenticeship, the guy that hired me, who was one of the owners of the shop, he ended up splitting town because he got into some trouble. Mm-hmm. There were some really crazy rumors floating around about him, and he left the apprentice the entire shop. The apprentice that was like 2 years ahead of me. Well, I think he was now a tattoo artist, but he just left him the entire shop and split town.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so...
Ever heard of again, or...?
He's around, but not in a different county than where this was. So, but he wasn't heard from for years, like 10 years. So he ends up splitting. The shop ends up keeping me on, but under the stipulation that my apprenticeship starts over. So...
They just wanted free help.
Exactly. Now, as an adult, I'm like... Oh, yeah, they were just, So, and then, okay, so Now, fast forward maybe about a year and a half from that. I'm now almost at the 2-year mark. Then I was able to tattoo myself. I don't know you had an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Did you have to tattoo yourself first?
Yeah, and I was like a weirdo about it. I didn't want to tattoo myself. I'd already tattooed myself before I got in a tattoo apprenticeship.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like now getting good tats. And I was like, I don't want to like... And he made me tattoo like a spot on my thigh. He's like, no, it's the easiest spot for you to reach. You'll learn the best this way. And I was like, I don't want to tattoo that spot. He's like, you want a tattoo? And so I tattooed like that spot.
Prime real estate.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, and then shortly after I got to bring in friends and stuff.
Yeah, so I tattooed myself, same thing on my thigh. And it's like the middle of my thigh.
Upside down?
Yeah, it's my last name. It's fucking dog shit, dude. Wait, are you asking if I tattooed it upside down or is the design upside down?
Both? No?
So
is it upside down to me when you stand up?
No.
Okay, fair
it's
enough.
right side up. But
Okay.
it's my last name. It's the middle of my thigh. It chopped that. And this is why this person shouldn't have even been apprenticing. That's not the easiest place to reach, right? It should have been closer to the knee or like on the ankle.
Okay, mine was like right above my knee. Yeah.
Yeah. And also now my thigh's fucked because I don't want to cover that. But now I got to do 2 different tattoos to fill in.
Oh, it was a splits right down the middle.
Yeah.
You're saying.
Stupid. Anyway, so I did that. And then the next day, I was able to tattoo one of the shop's neighbors. He was willing to let me tattoo him. And it was the name Erica with the K. And it was, poor guy, he got it on his arm. And I was so scared, dude. I was so shaky. And I just fucked him up. But he knew. I mean, he knew.
He got a good deal.
Yeah.
Free?
Free.
Well, hey, you know what? It looked like it was done for free.
I know. And if you ever want to cover up, you could pay me full price for one.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, you're not kidding. So, okay. So how did you leave? What got you the courage to say, fuck this? What was the final day?
So now I was starting to bring in people and charge them. First, you're allowed to bring in people to tattoo, but they're allowed to refer you people to tattoo, but you're only getting tips, right? So once I started being able to charge for little tattoos, there would be walk-ins coming in, and admittedly, it was during the time where, the housing crisis had happened, and everyone was just poor. But any walk-ins that we would get, they wouldn't put me on rotation, and this came out of my mentor's mouth. I asked about it, like, when can I be on rotation? Because I was now able to tattoo, but I was still being treated like the apprentice, doing all the apprentice stuff. And he said, we can't all eat. And I was like, then why the fuck am I here,
Yeah.
Especially it wasn't even like right now it's not going to work out, but maybe,
That's a crazy confident take, too.
He straight up said, like, we can't.
I mean, that's why I'll tell someone... I would tell someone that's why I won't apprentice them, but I won't tell them as they're my apprentice. Like, that's why I wouldn't apprentice someone because we can't all fucking eat. And if you're not bringing something new to this thing, then you're just taking from it and you're going to be as slow as everyone else in it. And so that's a different conversation, but that's crazy. So he tells you that.
And if I'm bringing in people now to tattoo, giving you 40% of my money or whatever the drop was at that point, then I shouldn't be having to scrub the toilets and go stop what I'm doing to go get you lunch,
Yeah.
Like, now I'm an employee, so you can't have it both ways, or at least I was to that point now.
Yeah.
So one day, I just packed up my shit. I took the machine that was given to me. I think I had one machine that I bought for myself. One machine, we had faked a robbery at the shop. That's a whole nother story. And all got new machines, and I got the hand-me-downs, so I took those.
Oh, like an insurance scam thing? That's tight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Statute of
crazy.
limitations
That's
is
bad.
over.
That's bad things. It's cool.
So, statute of limitations is over, so or else I wouldn't be saying this.
Yeah.
But I just took all my shit and I left because I was just like, I had it. I felt so played, and that was when you had to take your portfolio from shop to shop to shop till someone hired you.
So did you have any insight on where you want to go next? Any homies, anything? Or did you have to go shop to shop like that?
No, I went shop to shop, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a humbling, cool experience.
I literally, I want to say, Yelp was new-ish, and so I literally like pulled up shops in the surrounding area and went to a few different ones. You know, some, I mean, and I understand why they were like this, but some, they're not even looking at your portfolio. They're like, get out of here, kid. You don't got what it takes, you know?
Right, for sure.
So I was told to kick rocks many a times. And then I found one that took me on. And yeah, I worked there for a while. This was in Pico Rivera.
Okay. Where are you originally from?
I'm from La Puente. I was born and raised in La Puente. That's a small city in LA County. But where I apprenticed at was a shop in Fontana. Now they're in Upland. They're still around.
That's not far from La Puente. Just down the 15. Yeah.
Yeah. So so that's how I started. And then I went to the first shop out of my apprenticeship was, they're no longer around. They were called Distinctive Ink in Pico Rivera. And that was owned by a non-tattooer. So, you know, the kind of...
That's rough.
Yeah. The money grab that comes with that. Like...
I feel like that either never works out or it works out too good. And it's like, God damn it, get away from our thing.
Yeah. Yeah. This one was like, the guy and his wife didn't work. They lived in the shop.
Oh.
Yeah. It was like boundaryless. And so fucking, I don't mind going into detail there, but it was like just... I just like took as much as I can take.
Yeah.
The owner like got in my face real bad one day and like physically in my face. And so I started packing up my shit again behind his back. And then he found out that I was squirreling away all my stuff. And then we really had it out. And I split. And then I hit the road with my portfolio again.
Damn.
And then I went to Fullerton.
Okay.
I like found Harbor. You know, it used to have a bunch of shops. And I just started at Classic and went all the way down until one hired me.
Damn.
Yeah.
And at one time, wasn't there like 100 shops on that street or something crazy? Some number that was wild?
In Fullerton, I think there was something crazy. Like, it may have been even more than that. Because I remember I think they finally capped it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Is, with how tattooing is going now, is there like more or less? Or what's it like over there? What's the landscape of...
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back in San Gabriel Valley, and I haven't been in Fullerton in a long time. But
yeah, I only know about like Classic and Roseland and Tip Top and is what's that one?
I worked at All Hallows.
That one. I know that one. So those are the shops that I know of in Fullerton.
I think All Hallows has always had a huge turnover rate. Probably the owner's fault, but.
There's also a really big space, right? So it's lots to fill.
Yeah, it's a really big space. But back then, I don't know how it is now, but with the two colleges and the bars, we got fucking walk-ins, dude. Like, so that was sick. I mean, that's how I built a clientele in the first place.
Totally. That's cool. You recognize that. I feel like a lot of people they'll kind of discount their time in the street shop and be like, oh yeah, I'm self-made, right? This and that. And it's like, no, you got walk-ins in that shop. I mean, you had to do what it takes to keep them and bring them back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, you're rooted in street shop, you know?
Yeah. And it was a matter too of like, you get a walk-in, they're getting something that you can do, but don't want to do. But
of course.
When you build that trust, then the next idea they have for you, you're like, what if we did this? And then you kind of like introduce your style to them. And if they trust you, usually they'll follow.
I feel like that never goes away. I feel like it takes I say it takes like 3 appointments. Like first one's their thing. Second thing is like their thing your way. And third thing is that thing that they like, that they saw you did and they're open to it. And after that, you got them.
And after that, they don't even go look at stencil placement. They're like, whatever you think, that's cool.
Yeah, you've kind of, you had to build that trust, you know? Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's weird because now we're getting people mostly... The walk-ins are coming from Instagram. The, walk-ins are people they already see your work. But then, like, are being in a street shop and someone genuinely walking in, you have just a few seconds to sell yourself, you know? And
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of people can miss that mark, and that might be the only walk-in that day. So you have to really go up there with a smile and want to do the thing you don't want to do that day.
I actually just picked up a walk-in day at Bone Deep in Camarillo.
Okay.
I'm doing every other Sundays there. And
that's cool.
Dude, it's so fun. Like, it's just like I don't know. Of course, I got tired of it when I was like first wanting to only do my own style, but now like getting to do that again, I'm like, who knows what the day holds, you know?
Yeah, I think the grass is always greener. I think I was in the same boat. Like when Instagram started happening, it's like you feel the pressure to have a thing to stand out from all the other things. And then eventually you're like, if I can be busy doing my thing, that would have made it. And then I think once you, I guess, sort of make it, when you do get a chance to have the spontaneous walk-in, it's kind of exciting because like you kind of have to like sell it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you're not complaining that it's like the 10th infinity symbol. You're like, I haven't done an infinity symbol in 10 years. I'm gonna do the best infinity symbol ever today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's so funny that you brought up infinity symbols. Just this like past week, one of my uncles, he just had 2 granddaughters and his wife texts me and she's like, your uncle wants to get the girls' names and he's thinking he wants it like this and sends me an infinity symbol.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to ultimately do what he wants. But just so you know, like this is
It's a common
an
one.
ultra feminine tattoo.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you're allowed to say that anymore, but it's so feminine. I was like, that it's become a trope in the tattoo shops. Like it's an infinity, like, oh, it's one of those infinity symbol girls, you know? And I was like, so I'll do it. But anytime he shows anybody that has tattoos, they're probably going to laugh as soon as he walks
That's
away.
good. It's good for him to be aware. You don't want to hear that criticism after.
Yeah.
And if you could talk him out of it, good. And if you can't, then good. He's getting the
Yeah.
tattoo he needs that day.
And then I was also, my next thing was going to be like, okay, well, he better be prepared to get it this big because we've seen now how those names healed that everyone got, or the faith or courage or whatever. I'm like, 2 names. That's gonna look
And now
shit.
the opposing trend has happened where everyone's watering down their ink so their fine line will fade rather than blow out. So it went from blowing out small letters to letters
Is that
lasering
true?
themselves. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's like, it's like a little cheat code and it's like, you got to find yourself somewhere in it. I don't want to give away too much free game, but in short, yes, it's true. It can be done in a way where it's legitimate, but I think by newer tattooers who maybe aren't really getting it in and they're already delicate and gentle and they're using some kind of wash, it might be too light of a wash. I've seen some fine line come back where it's like,
Gone.
yeah, gone.
That seems wrong to me.
Yeah.
Because you're selling this tattoo that you know isn't going to stand the test of time now because it's made to fade.
But that's not what tattooing is about anymore. It's about like having it on Instagram for the cool photo right now this time.
Yeah, that's true.
I think where I'm at in it, because I've thought a lot about it, we went through the phase of like whip shading, like whipping it out as far as possible. And that looks like shit over time too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like now people are like making the whips a lot shorter and tattooing, especially traditional, is becoming more defined, more graphic-y kind of, I would say. I
like that packing just in the corners. And
yeah. So I would say like I find my place in it where like we've both tattooed long enough now to where we kind of know what's going to blow out, what's going to fade out. But when you understand that, both can benefit you, where you can like maybe have a light detail on a pinup's nose that is going to fade, and you'd rather that face get more delicate than it blow out.
Yeah.
You know? So I think I tattoo for the best worst case scenario. Like, how is this going to look when it blows out? How is it going to look at when it fades?
Yeah.
Not if, you know? And if you can understand that, and also if your client understands it, like, I mean, some clients you could tell them and they're like, I don't care. And I don't know, it's not your job to make it your way, you know? Like, it's your job to serve that customer that day. So if you can put it aside and do it, I think there's nothing wrong with doing that, you know?
Yeah. I guess it's like a matter of hopefully these kids that are watering down their inks just so it can look good or seemingly so it could just look good for the picture. Hopefully once they get to that like 10-year mark and are seeing or whatever, seeing how their shit heals, they'll troubleshoot. But like maybe I'm just all old and like.
I think there's a sweet spot in the middle, right? And I think that we go through these back and forths of like extremes of like, I'm tattooing bold so it stays. And it's like, whoa, that was too bold, you know? And then I'm going thin, like, ooh, that was too thin. And, and I think it's going to be a little bit of that. And I think that in order to stand out, you kind of have to have a bit of an extreme because if you were to make the tattoo that is best for longevity, it would be pretty boring. Like sometimes the coolest part about the tattoo is the weakest part about it over time.
Like what?
Like I would say like maybe like anything delicate, like a portrait, right? You might like maybe some really like delicate, like, all right, okay, an iconic one that is relatable would be like the same Marilyn Monroe portrait everyone gets.
Yeah.
It's not really made to be a good tattoo. Like the hair is white, she's white, the defining jawline that separates her from the neck is also very light. And so if you tattoo that in the contrast that is in that original photo, we know that our black is going to become like a dark gray. Our dark gray is going to be a medium gray. Our medium gray is going to be a light gray. And a light gray is not going to be there. And that tattoo, a lot of it is light gray. So that defining like jawline is gone. Now she's got like a neck face, right? Her cute nose that's light, she doesn't have a nose anymore. So I think that would be an extreme where tattooers now would maybe bump the contrast up and account for that if they have enough experience to understand that, right?
Yeah.
But also you kind of have to like find your place. Am I tattooing for today or am I tattooing for tomorrow? And what may be the best tattoo for today might be that faded Marilyn Monroe portrait down the road. So you might have to explain to your client like, hey, this is going to be a bit darker and it's going to still be Marilyn Monroe, but bro, in 10 years, this thing's going to be a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think, that's what it is, explaining to the client. And sometimes they might be like, no, I don't want it to be darker.
Exactly. I think that, and I think when it comes to like walk-in tattooing, you kind of have this perspective where it's like, well, if I don't do it, someone else is going to do it. If they are aware of this, they're here to purchase it. Like the reality of the situation is you're going to say, well, I don't want my name on that. And the reality of the situation is they don't know your name.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck. They don't know the name of the shop. Yeah. They know I got it at that tattoo shop. Where'd you get it? Over there. Who did it for you? I can't remember. That's the reality of walk-in tattooing.
Yeah.
So, you know, you do your best and you try to find a place between what they want and what they need. And I don't know, like, just because I go into a restaurant and I might order the Impossible Burger without cheese, maybe it's intended to be better with cheese and this and that. The chef isn't going to throw a fit. The chef ultimately, at the end of the day, the burger's not for him. He's making this burger for Wayne. He's going to make it without cheese, and that's fine. I paid him. So I think we have to like humble ourselves as tattooers and remember that like we aren't the ones wearing these tattoos. And if they want better advice, like I think you owe them your honest opinion. And I think you should give them the honest spiel out the gate, like telling your uncle, like, hey, just so you know, this was a trend. It's commonplace. It's kind of a feminine tattoo. If you still want it, fuck yeah, cool. But if that talks you out of it, thank God I said something. Yeah. Right? And then now you're like, cool, I can do this tattoo. My conscience is clean, whatever. And over time, it's unavoidable. You're going to have clients that are going to come back to you and say, why'd you let me get that so small? And luckily, hopefully you can say, I did tell you shouldn't get that small and you still want it and I did it.
Yeah. I told you not to get it upside down on your wrist.
Yes.
That it wasn't for you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's for everyone.
And I think that's just like, that is tattooing.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
And so I don't know, sometimes it can be kind of hard to find your place in it, you know, but like I'm kind of weird. I don't tattoo like people's hands or necks or faces. Like I will if they're a tattooer or if they already have stuff that's visible. I have no issue with it, but I just don't want to be the one to do it. Like
I think it also, if you want your client to be open to your suggestions too, it's also the way you frame things. Like we all know that clients are terrible at, or that can be terrible at picking a color palette, you know, like, because they're not seeing it as like color theory. So like, instead of being like, that's going to look fucking disgusting, or that's going to look stupid, or you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'll just tell them like, okay, well, let's do this. What's your favorite color? And then it's always purple. It's purple. Okay. Where would you like to see purple in the rose? Okay. I'm going to base all the other colors off of that.
So it goes well with purple.
So you have your favorite colors that stands out in the middle, and then you're not, you know, and I think that they're a little bit more open when you kind of bring them into the decision as opposed to like just making them feel dumb and then being the grumpy tattooer that, you know, the grumpy tattooer trope of.
That's interesting. I feel like that one's that's a more niche thing to what you do. I don't think I experienced that much, but I think it's because I only use like one red, one green, one brown, one yellow.
Yeah.
So I don't ask. I just do the fucking tattoo. The only time that does come up is like, what color is the rose going to be? And I'm like, red, or I could do it black, or I could do it yellow, you know? But almost it never happens. I do get people that maybe will be like, I don't know about the green, or they'll be like, oh, I want to get like a black and red tattoo. You know what I mean? And I'm down if that works, but I usually will do a black and then a gray wash and red tattoo to account for another tone that's not, so it doesn't feel unfinished.
Yeah.
Not everything can be black and red.
That's what I tell people too, is because I get that one. Well, what about just hints of color? And I always tell them, I say we go one way or the other, because it's going to kind of look like you just walked out with your first session done and you're supposed to be coming back at some point.
Yeah, if they're at that point, I'm just like, I just say, just do black and gray. It'll look great. You don't have to worry about it at all, you know? But yeah, it's interesting about the color thing. You know, it's funny, like your process of managing that, which I think makes sense. I thought of that as being like a bad thing prior to this conversation, because I had this one time with a coworker and he was like overthinking this tattoo, like, and he'd kind of overshaded it and it was kind of overdone. He wasn't happy with it. He didn't really know when to walk away. Right. And that's a big part of what we do, is just knowing when the tattoo's fucking done. Right.
Yeah.
And, he was like, oh, fuck. You know, we could put like a color behind this, like wolf, you know? And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, what color do you want? And the guy's like, I don't know. Like, I like purple. And he's like, okay, cool. And he's like, what shade of purple? And they're like, oh, I like this. He's like, oh, well, I have this purple and I have this purple. And the guy, or I can do something in between. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, something in between, right? He's like, okay, cool. Let me spray some back to you. I'll take a break, this and that. Comes out back. He's having a smoke. He's like, dude, my client's being so difficult. They want this specific shade of purple that doesn't exist. And I tell him, bullshit, you put yourself in this scenario. He didn't even know purple existed. He didn't know it was an option on the menu. You wanted to do this, you know? And he's like, no. I'm like, dude, I was there, you know? And then he puts a bunch of purple in it. And the guy's like, whoa, I like the purple, you know? Wow, you know? And the guy was happy, but I was just like, you invited them into this creative role when they weren't even in there, you know?
Yeah.
And then you complained about it.
Yeah, totally.
Kind of odd, you know?
Totally. And you created more work for yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, I remember there was a time where the backsplash of color, like, we were doing it on everything, you know? Like, and now, like, kind of taking it back to, sometimes it does work for designs, don't get me wrong. But sometimes a design looks good just like that. Like, the outline's bold enough. It stands out from the rest of the tattoos. Like you said, like, just know when to walk away. Yeah,
you just got to be like, that's a tattoo on your skin.
Yeah.
And people are like, on a sleeve, like, what could you do for the background? I'm like, you human, like, you are the background. It tattooed
on
you.
That's a good one.
You know, it's like, and like, do you want me to make you gray? Do you want me to make you blue? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, it looks like a tattoo on your skin, and that looks fine. That looks beautiful. That's good. That's okay. And this background that is you, it helps us see what is the tattoo and what isn't. If we fill everything in, which may look really cool up close, is going to be ultimately just kind of confusing to look at over time, you know?
Yeah. I wonder if, like, I feel like people often want to, once their sleeve is done, they're like, okay, now I want to tie everything together, which doesn't really work with traditional tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can do the stars and dots, but like, a solid color would look horrible, right?
I think so.
And I wonder if that's like more of a California thing, because we're also we're so close with black and gray tattooers where they are filling in everything. If like, it's just making people think like, oh, that's a finished sleeve.
I think it's also the client's friends, because they might be like, that's not a sleeve. You have a gap there. And then they come back and they're like, hey, my friend told me this isn't a sleeve now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't know. You can't help that. People get tattooed to be cool. And if their shit is no longer cool, they're going to be insecure. They were insecure before. That's why they came and got tattooed.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. Insecure or bored.
Yeah. So I think you can't really fight that one that much. I think the loophole, if they thought ahead, to be like do the frame traditional thing. I think that's a neat look, but
Oh yeah, that like Italian style.
but
Yeah.
you have to do it. You can't just like throw it on afterwards. It looks like you threw it on
Yeah,
afterwards.
I think you gotta. Well, I think what people do typically is like they do that first, right? Or
Yeah, or like
often.
I think I like it when it's like a bit of both, like when the image is coming out of the frame a bit. Because if you do it first, I feel like sometimes it looks like more frame than tattoo.
Yeah,
You know?
I've definitely seen that.
And I feel like for example with flash, I don't have my flash in like gaudy frames. I have the most basic frames because I want you to see the flash. And like on skin, I have my tattoos on the skin because I want you to see the tattoos. I think the same person that puts their painting in some crazy ass frame is the same person that puts crazy background on their tattoos as well.
Well, I think like if you've ever had a painting framed, they will talk you out of like, even though the gaudy frame is probably more like if
Right.
it's your own artwork, they'll like talk you out of it. Like, oh, you don't want it to like overpower the.
That's like the
Painting.
closest thing we could find to them. Like, I mean, it's really relatable being a tattooer, right? Or they'll mat it with like the primary color from the painting. You know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool. That's a whole different craft.
Yeah, and actually, now I'm like, oh, that's why matting's a thing to separate that, probably, right? So,
Well, and you can have like really, really basic paintings. Like I have some like couple pieces of cardboard up there, but the frame really does a lot. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter how cool the image is unless it's, presented correctly. Like you really need to you need to show it right. You can have a little sketch on a piece of paper, but if you paint it and you space it out from the borders so it's not getting framed, like cut off by the frame, and you do a good job of it, like presentation matters.
yeah, dude, this analogy is going into my my client talking out of
Oh, yeah?
file, yeah, because that's like a great thing. Like, yeah, you know how paintings are matted? It's because you don't want them butted up against the whatever. Like, I think
Yeah.
that's like a good way to break it down
Yeah.
for someone that may not be thinking about it in those terms.
Yeah, I just try to cut it real quick and just be like, don't worry about the filler stuff. You have a lot of arm to fill and stuff. And then we'll get to that stuff. And if you still want to like do your stars and dots or you still want to whatever, then we'll do it. But that 1 inch gap you have, you can get an initial for your friend that passes away 6 years from now.
Yeah.
Or you can get a little Route 66 logo after you go on a road trip.
Yeah.
Or you can get a band logo, or you can get your kid's first initial. Like you can get fun. You get a Friday 13th tattoo. That's how you're supposed to do it. Like you can have fun things over time to fill these little gaps. If your tattoos are a story, you're kind of closing that story pretty quick right now,
Yeah. What are your what's your opinion on stars and dots? You love them or you hate them?
Neither here nor there. I think it's funny because I think there's people that do them really well. It's not just like, some people might just see stars and dots, but there's crappy stars and dots and there's good stars and dots.
Crappy stars and dots.
Like there's some people out there where I'm like, damn, I would get stars and dots. I would just go to them and have them fill the gaps. But I think like, all right, I would say hot historical, not topical take is that Lyle Tuttle had too many stars and dots. His whole ribs were like stars and dots. That was like,
Well, that's the end of your podcast. No.
yeah.
Thanks for watching the last episode.
Yeah. I think, but then the other thing is like really filling everything in, then getting the stars and dots. You can only fit a couple stars and
Yeah.
a couple dots. At that point, maybe don't do it.
I don't
It's a
like
difficult
them.
balance. I don't like them most of the time, but I have liked them before at times.
I could see why. Like, I think they're a classic look and stuff, but I don't love them. And I hate to see when there's so many stars and dots, or like a whole ass tattoo could have fit right there.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
Whose choice was this? Like,
Yeah.
I need to speak to your artist right now. Like,
But here's where I think they can be really appropriate is that sometimes you might not have a great traditional sleeve. You might have a good one, a bad one, a free one, an expensive one, and the sleeve didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, and you don't know how to fill these gaps, and stars and dots can be the solution for that. And yeah, it makes everything come together in a way where it kind of hides your tattoos, but some of those tattoos, not that bad to be hidden in them.
the stars
You
and
know?
dots, yeah.
I think honorable mention. I think Ryan Phillips at Downtown Tattoo does really good stars and dots, and I've seen his stars and dots specifically in filler in general. Does little filigree stuff, cool little like old English with like cursive. Like that motherfucker can fill a sleeve. I would say go to Ryan to get your sleeve filled. He can
There you
really
go.
do it. Really do it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a total it's a whole nother like level or style,
Yeah.
expertise, niche that
Yeah.
you can't just go. I mean, it seems simple enough, and it's simple to do this and this, but the layout is.
But if you discount it to that, you end up with like too many stars over there, not enough over
that's
there.
what I mean. It's like you need somebody that's gonna give a fuck about doing
Yes.
that and not just take the check and run.
Yeah, I kind of, they can't be further from my train of thought. I try to just like, I have a way I lay out sleeves, and I don't like stuff to wrap too much. I try to do like the outer arm, like on the top there, I'm gonna break it into fours. I'll have like the outer bicep, the inner bicep, narrow thing on the front, narrow thing on the back. And then the lower arm, I'll do the outside first, like the Popeye anchor placement, right? And then I'll do the inside for you, right? And then I'll do the back afterwards. And I almost always try to put a web because it just ties everything together, and it fills some odd gaps that you won't have if the web does go on there.
Like a web on the elbow? Or?
Yeah, I love it. I just think it looks classic. It's fast as fuck to do. It heals quick. It ages good if it's not too much black in it. And if people are scared of it, good. And if people don't like it, good. If people do like it, then you're a real one. You got a fucking sick elbow web. You got a real traditional sleeve. I like it.
Yeah, that is a real traditional sleeve.
Yeah, I like that. And I feel like every other elbow tattoo just, it's like, yeah, it's unique, it's different, but it's not better. Like, it's just like it fades on the tip of the elbow or blows out. The web is just like clearly a web. Very recognizable.
I have a heart on my elbow. I have a heart noose or lasso, whatever you want to call it. And the inside is solid red, which I didn't want, but my friend Pokey, shout out Pokey, that did it was like, it would look sick, and I was trying to cheat and not do it. So I let him do it, but now every time I see him, he's like, we got to get back in that red. There's a little spot. I'm like, you're never fucking touching that red, bro.
Yep.
It's staying like that.
No, it's funny. It's like in traditional, I'll see people do a web, and like I think they like want it to feel like a color tat, or like they want to do a little extra because it was quick. They fill the center in red. I'm like, you just fucked it up. Like it was like the tattoo was done as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now the only thing that will ever need to touch up in that web is that cool last thought. You know?
Yeah.
And again, you gotta know when to walk away. You gotta know when to be like, that tattoo's done. I'm confident. I think confidence shows through traditional. There's people that are really folky and loose, but they can apply it well. And it's like rock solid. And some people can't see that difference. I think, oh, it's a crappy drawing, but like, I think it shows, at least I see it, that style, that confidence, it's clear to me.
In like the wonky
Yeah.
folk art. Yeah, I know. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, my brain's just not like, well, I shouldn't say that, but like as of right now, my brain is not wired to draw like that.
Same, you start overthinking it.
Yeah.
It's like, was that like Picasso quote? It's like it took him his entire life to learn how to draw like a kid or something like that.
Oh yeah.
The end of his career was like simple stuff. Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
honorable mention, like, do you follow or know of Wan Tattooer, WAN?
I don't think so.
Oh, you would, it's fucking sick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, see? Like this is so sick.
Right.
Super solid, greatly done tattoo. We had a black and gray tattooer on our podcast. His name is Chango. He's out in South Bay, and he was saying that when he first started tattooing, he's like learned at home. Amazing realism. He was saying how he thought traditional was so fucking stupid, and he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, and I just saw it as like these simple drawings that people are fucking just slapping on someone, and so he ended up getting close with somebody that does traditional, and he tried to do one now with his friend watching, and he said that his friend was like, no, dude, like you only do a line once. You don't go back and sculpt it to make it thicker or
becomes
to,
like a new school thing on accident.
Yeah, like, well, he was like, I realized I can't do line work. Like, this is way
Yeah.
harder. Like, you have to be really confident and really, like, you have to just know how deep to, he was afraid
Yeah.
to use, like, a thick line, like, because he didn't know how to do line work. He didn't
Wow.
have to in his style.
Yeah.
And that made him, like, change his whole tune.
That's fair. I think it's neither here nor there. I think that they both have their strengths and weaknesses. I think traditional is very difficult because it has to be very, very deliberate. And I think when you have a more detail-oriented tattoo, you can kind of sit there with it a little bit longer. You can kind of like think about that spot for a while before you even get to it. And if you're good at like, I don't know, maybe the side of the brain that makes puzzles,
I got good brain.
then you could just like kind of paint by numbers and like, all right, I'm doing a gray triangle and now I'm doing a dark square and you could kind of be patient and you can get there. And then all of a sudden you have this beautiful portrait. But I think a lot of traditional tattooers are very like impatient, and it's like you're wanting to shade it before it's even done lining. It's just a different thing, you know? I think that we can't really do what they do and they can't really do what we do. And it's just different. Right.
You're better like dedicating your time to perfecting one of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that are great at both, I'm sure. And I'm sure everyone's going to like be like, what about me? I do this, but...
I'm the ink master. I do it all.
Yeah. Didn't you see my season run?
Yeah. Well, then you're the exception, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, I think that like, you should throw yourself into whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Like one is not better than the other.
Yeah. You know what I saw on your podcast was the you guys brought up the whole that trending thing of the person copying the swan tattoo.
Yeah, it was a crane.
Oh, crane. Yeah. I have a hot take. I'm for it. I think it's sick. Reason being, I'm okay with them ripping it.
Without the artist's
Who gives
blessing.
a fuck? It's not. Who cares? It's tattooing. Like we rip stuff all day, and I think on Ink Master, if I'm not mistaken, the whole point is to be able to master all styles, right?
It is, yeah.
If this client says, I want this, and you could do a fucking good job at it, that's a master.
Now, to be fair, I don't know if this person got the tattoo in like one of the challenges on the show, or if this was just, you know how at the beginning when they're doing like, I'm so and so from Salt Lake City, and then it shows like the tattoos they've done in the past. I think that was the case, but I'm not sure.
Well, that's even better, because then that was just fucking, they were just being a tattooer. They're serving a cheeseburger with no cheese that day.
I mean,
I didn't look at that close. I don't know if it was exactly the same. They changed it.
Exactly the same. Same body part, like same skin break, same everything.
Respect.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, like money roses, fucking Virgin Marys, chest eagles, like, you know, infinity symbols. Like, this is nothing new to our craft and tattooing. And it may be like really special, or it was a one-off, and that thing is still special and it's still one-off. And this thing is still handmade. It's different. The person wears it different. And it's like, okay, I would maybe, if you want to blame someone, maybe the client is corny or whatever.
But he didn't have to post it.
Yeah.
Maybe the client's like, no, dude, I want it exactly like this. He didn't have to post it.
But was it a good tattoo?
I think that the original was more solid, but I think it was all in all a good tattoo.
Okay, fair enough. I just think like, I mean.
Now, I've had somebody. Sorry, let me grab my drink.
You're good.
I've had somebody reach out to me because one of my clients brought in a drawing that they got off of it was like off of DeviantArt or something.
Ooh.
So it wasn't a tattoo. Now it could be a tattoo by the way it was drawn, and they wanted it exactly like that.
Right.
Did the tattoo, whatever, posted it because I thought it was just artwork from the internet, and then an artist slid into my DMs, and they weren't a dick about it at all, but they were like, hey, somehow like this drawing, you know, has went viral, whatever, and my client keeps seeing it tattooed on other people, and it really upsets them because they paid me for a custom tattoo. Do you mind deleting this picture? And I was like, absolutely.
I get that. It's easy enough to do.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, for me, it's not hard for me to change a thing and make it mine. That's easy. It's really hard to replicate. Yeah. So if you'd have brought if that client wanted that tattoo and I want exactly the same, I would tell them, hey, I'm gonna do my best, but I might shade a little bit different. I'm just a different artist. My hand moves differently. I might want to pull this design. I might want to pull the line a little bit to the left when it goes. It might, it just might feel better. It might fit your arm better. I don't know. And if the challenge was to replicate that tattoo, I don't know that I could have done that good of a job. I think for me, like the person, let's say they did replicate it exactly. Why are we glossing over the expertise? Like that's fucking hard.
It is hard. I will
you know
say
what I
that.
mean?
Especially having the reference picture be another tattoo because we've all done that, right?
When you're an apprentice and you start tracing Sailor Jerry stuff and you're like copying Sailor Jerry stuff, you can't replicate it. You're accidentally putting too much brown. Like you're like, oh, well, that's my style. And it's like, that's just a repercussion of you replicating the design. So I think I don't really fuck with Ink Master on a heavy level. I don't keep up with it. I see the clips online.
Yeah.
But so I don't have the context of this design, but I will say that from what I saw, they did a really good job. And if their job is to be well-rounded and do everything, seems like they probably can.
I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think there has to be a little bit of a level of integrity to not do stuff like that, or at least to not post it. However, the real monster here is the Ink Master production for putting that guy on blast, because now he's getting dragged all over the
they
internet.
did it? It was
on the show.
Oh, shit.
The original artist was watching the show, sees his tattoo that he
that's crushing.
Yeah, and so that's where the whole like, wait, what the fuck? Like,
see, all right, I know context, so I would be like, fuck it.
You and the people commenting right now on the post.
I would be like, fuck it, own it. You know what I mean? Like, I think, I don't know, like, it's kind of like when you first start tattooing and you do like, say, crying heart on someone, and then you get a DM of like, hey bro, someone copied your design. It's like, no, this is a common design, right? Or this could be anything. This could be spider web, this could be a chest eagle, this could be I mean, how do you think people that drew that cartoon character and then you just ripped it and tattooed it, like everything is stolen? Like our art is the art of appropriation. It's ancient as time, as modern as tomorrow, and we're ripping shit every single day. Yeah. That is tattooing. Like, very, very seldomly are you ever asked to do an original thing. And even the original thing, like, you had to get it from somewhere. So I just think, like, I don't know, like, although I wouldn't do it that way, I don't know that I'm capable of doing that tattoo that way. That's why I have respect for it. Because I'm just like, hey, that's tattooing. Like, was it a good tattoo? Yes. Did the client love it? Yes. Is someone else hurt somewhere else? Not of concern. Like, the tattooer did the job, did the tattoo, client stoked. You know, is it like, do you feel like a bit of shame online? Like, that sucks. But like, I don't know. Again, I come from street shop tattooing, and all we're doing is shit off people's phones all day long. Yeah. And if they really wanted to go to that artist, they would have, you know? So it does kind of, I don't know. I can see both sides. And, but that person, whoever they are, they did a good tattoo. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's a good tattoo. I mean, the original one was a good tattoo too. I think that the original artist has a right to be upset, but they can probably do a little bit of a mental workaround and be like, this is nothing to be upset over. Right. Like, why?
Well, it's almost embarrassing to be the person to post like, oh, this person copied my shit. It's like, you gotta just like be like, yo, you posted it on the internet. It's now public domain, and people were inspired, and someone copied your work. Like, you should pat yourself on the back. Like, for example, I don't post most of my flash on Instagram, and it's not because I'm afraid people are gonna tattoo my shit. I mean, that's a piece of it, but it's more or less, I want to give you a reason to come in and see it. So I will intentionally post my flash behind the tattoo from a distance, blurry in the background, so you have to zoom in, or I'll make a video of me painting flash, or I'll post a flash at an angle. If you're gonna steal my shit, I'm gonna make it a little bit difficult for you. If you can figure it out, good for you. If you reference it, cool. If you steal it, cool.
See, but you taking those measures and those parameters to make your tattoo, like, want someone to come in to see it, maybe this person now feels
if I already got to tattoo it, it's fair
game.
I tattooed it. You know what I mean? So it's like, once I post the tattoo of it, it's on the internet. I'm like, cool, I made my money. I got to tattoo it. And so here's my contribution to tattooing. Here, take it, add the link to the chain. We're all stealing. Just do your thing. Cool. If I got to make money, hopefully you get to make money off of it now. You know, that's how I look at it. And if I really don't want to get my shit ripped, then I won't share it. But you have to be okay with, once you post it to the world seeing it, and any possibility is now a possibility. Yeah.
And I guess, like, I have too seen a tattoo that I've seen tattoos that are exactly mine, like line for line. Never have I went out of my way to like post, like, put someone on blast. And this guy didn't either, to be fair. He crossed off the artist's name. Like, he obviously didn't want people going and bullying them. Okay. It was more of like, his beef, I think, was more with Ink Master. But I have seen people copy my shit, and or like, I'm like, oh, they totally referenced one of my tattoos for this. I could tell. And it's not that big of a deal to me either.
I think we just gotta look at it from, like, I guess you can look at it both ways, like glass half full, glass half empty, but you have to look at it from like a perspective of like, that's your contribution to tattooing. Like, you reference someone else's tattoos. Now you're in the position where someone's referencing your tattoos. If they do a bad job, makes you look great. If they do a good job, makes you look great. If they tag you, that's great. If they don't tag you, you already made your money, made the tattoo.
I mean,
you can't lose.
But the person that did the copying also has to look at it from the point of, I stole a tattoo and I might get in a world of shit for it.
Yeah. If you tattoo, this message is for you. If you kind of need some needles to do your job, right? I can only assume. Consider Unite and Win Tattoo Supply. If you like big boys, big old lines, big old crazy lines, I consider the hollows. These are what I use for back pieces, for big stuff. Ooh, the big ass line. Those are the hollows from Unite and Win Tattoo Supply. I use the hollows for big back pieces. I feel like they're stable. I feel like they're hard to blow out. They get in just right. If you want a big novelty line, that 10 hollow is supreme. The 12, I pop in like a 14 tube. The 14 hollow, I put an 18 tube. Get a proper angle on there, or if you use a Swift tips, the 9 to 14s work perfect for my 14 hollows. That's the biggest line I offer. It's bigger than what you consider to be an 18 round shader. It's big. And I don't know. It's not for the faint of heart. I would kind of give another little trick tip. I would kind of keep your needle perpendicular to the skin and not run a line at an angle, because you want to get all those needles to do their thing. That's all I'm going to give you. But if you want some big lines, that's my thing. So Unite Win Tattoo Supply, easy to find, the best needles money can buy. Back to the podcast. When does it become okay? Like, do you have like 4 people get it for it to be like okay for the 5th person?
I think the rule's supposed to be, if the guy is dead, you can copy their shit.
I like that. When I trace Flash, they're dead or retired. I don't really reference past the 70s. I like kind of like mid-century era tattooing, I suppose. But I will give you an example of a time that I didn't see things the way I see them now. I traced a Walt Daly skull spider, and it's got like a skull, like eyeball spider thing, and the web makes a skull. It's a very common tattoo. And I saw this old piece of Flash, and I didn't know who did it originally. I didn't know if it was like a Spalding Rogers set or a National set, or at the time I didn't know, just like old production Flash. And I traced it, and I made a couple changes to it. I took liberty to color it in my way. I painted on a flash sheet, and someone left a comment saying like, oh, would it be cool if I got this tattooed by someone else or something like that in the comment? And I did think like, man, how dare they? Like, I took my time, I drew this thing, I painted it, blah, blah, blah. And I did make my little changes to it, but it was undeniably the Walt Daly design. And I think it was like Seth Safari comment on and tagged Walt Daly. I didn't know who Walt Daly was. The sheet that I found wasn't even signed. And he put, haha, get a load of this, right? And then Walt Daly commented something, and I can't remember what it was. It was fine, but it was fucking humbling, right? And I was like, oh, I'm that fucking guy now. Like, I'm trying to be like, oh yeah, this is my art. I worked hard, this and that. When I fucking stole it from that guy who is alive, and I didn't tag him.
But did you redraw it? You drew it yourself, or you traced it?
I mean, a bit of both could be true. But that's my style. But it's one of those things where, like, if you redraw a Mickey Mouse, it's still a Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You redraw a Bart Simpson, it's still a Bart Simpson.
My thing is, I always tell people, like, if you're gonna copy what somebody did, or like, say you got an idea from someone, or you're referencing someone's work, if you don't trace it, if you just eyeball it and draw it, it's probably going to be changed enough that it's now your tattoo, right? Like,
I like, for me, like, just because I'm not talented, like, I will just trace it out the get-go to have the proportions correct, to not do it on hard mode, right? I'm just going to trace that fucking thing loosely, and then I might go and lighten my opacity, and I might go and on the iPad and you know, change it a little bit to my liking, and then it becomes like a new thing. But I will like look at the thing to see what to do as far as shading, or what not to do as far as shading, and come to my own conclusion.
Okay, now why is that your process where you go and add your own flair to it or whatever?
It is not for me to be original. It's my ego and being selfish, thinking that I could do it better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I get where you're going. You're going like,
stop me right there.
I get it.
You said, nope, not today, not on this podcast.
I mean, like, It's a bit of both, right? Like,
but if you're saying ego, can that also be integrity? Or
yeah,
no,
yeah, it's
not at
fair.
all?
But like, I look at it like this: like, all right, there's some designs that are classic and like, all right, here's my rule: I will only change the design if it's. I'm not going to change it to change it. Like if I was teaching you how to tat and you were tracing a design and you changed some shit, like say it was a girl head and you like removed some eyelashes or you made the eyebrow different and maybe you didn't like want to figure out the hair. Hair's a good one. Hair's difficult, right? And you're like, boom, the hair, right? And I ask you like, why did you do that? And you're like, oh, it's just the way I wanted to do it. That's not fair. You didn't give me an answer. That just means you were fucking lazy. So I think that unless you have to have a reason, right? Let's say someone wants to get a prisoner of love tattoo and they're clever and they're like, I want to get, say, prisoner of donuts. And I'm going to put a donut because I like donuts. It's like, okay, that's a fair reason, right? But if I'm tracing Ed Hardy's prisoner of love, like if I change the lettering, am I making it better or am I just changing it? And the goal is to make the best tattoo, not the different tattoo, right? If I'm cooking food and I start changing the recipe, am I changing it to my liking because it's not spicy enough? Or am I changing it because I don't want it to be the same as the recipe, right? That's not a good reason to change a recipe. So when I think of the reason why I'm changing it because I feel like it needs some change into it. Not because it's intellectually not mine.
Yeah.
But there are things like I'll trace an old pin up and the nose is just 2 dots. And I might whip the dot out into a little bit of a nostril.
Yeah.
And I might whip a little brown down to make a bridge. And I might bring the blush like not into the corner of the eye, but underneath the cheekbone a little bit. And I'll do that little bit, or the nipple's a little dot. And I might make a little areola, like I'll do a little like, a little flex, little thing there. But I didn't necessarily change it.
Yeah.
I just took that thing and then like I just applied it my way. But even that is different enough to where it could be something completely new and novel in its own right that day.
I mean, I guess like I do see what you're saying, but I just don't feel right. I think copying somebody's tattoo, especially that is still actively tattooing. But to go back to real quick what you said about somebody being like, oh, can I get this tattooed by somebody else? Do you know about these tattoo tickets?
Oh, okay. So I had a client who was like trying to get into tattooing and they were like a tattoo iPad flash painter.
Okay.
And obviously like they're sharing their journey and they would have a thing on their big cartel with their prints and their stickers and their whatever. And they say, oh, you can purchase this so that way you can get this tattooed by someone in good faith. And I think it's fine. Sure. Whatever. If you want to like do that, cool. If you don't, that's cool. Whatever. The issue I had was like, I read this particular one and it was like, because it's my design, this and that. And their shit was clearly my situation of me ripping Walt Daly. It was clearly like, that's a prisoner of love from Ed Hardy.
Yeah.
And you put a fucking donut on it and now you want to get a tattoo ticket. Like, where's your contribution to Ed Hardy? Have you bought any like books from Hardy Marks Publishing lately?
Yeah.
Like, what have you done for tattooing? You're just taking from it. And then you're like, no, this is my original idea. I'm owed something for it. That pissed me off.
Yeah.
But I think in general, like if someone wants to support and they want to like pay this artist to rip their stuff, that's cool. If they don't want to, I don't know.
Yeah. If you guys don't know what tattoo tickets are, I don't really know what it is either, but people have hit me up like, oh, do you sell tattoo tickets? I want to get this design, but I live in fucking Amsterdam or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, just fucking do it, whatever.
Yes.
But, because I mean, you're not gonna fly out here and get tattooed. Probably America's expensive.
Here's my thing too. Like I think this is where it comes to a deeper level discussion on copying. So, like I think if we do the same exact design, we do matching tattoos on someone today, right? And I use a 9 round, you use a 9 round. My 9 round is gonna look different with my machine than with your machine. It's going to have a different look of the line in the skin. And then the way you whip it opposed to the way I whip the black, we might be shading the same amount of black, but yours might have more pepper to it, or mine might be more smooth, or vice versa. And we might use the same exact red, it's just not going to be the same thing. Like, I think we're not giving enough credit to the idea that this is a handmade one-off item. And even if it looks close, it's still a bootleg at best.
Yeah.
Like, it's still like, it's still new every single time. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's tricky. You know where I will say I would get hurt of someone taking my stuff, and a time that it has happened to me.
Okay, what?
Okay, is I sold a line book. It was like my line drawings from like 2015 to 2019. And I made 100 of these books and I sold them. And I wrote something in it like, if you want to take this and give me credit, cool. If you want to take this and not give me credit, I appreciate you buying the book. That's your tattoo ticket, right? Make some money off of it. Cool, whatever. Give me credit. Don't. It's up to you. Like, here's my contribution to tattoo. Something like that, right? And someone, a tattooer, they'd message me or comment on something, looked at their page, and they made like a tattoo aftercare, like a tattoo cream or something, right? And the logo for their brand and the stickers that were on every single cream container was my exact line drawing.
That's wrong.
Yes.
That is wrong as fuck. Dude,
yeah.
Because that's not what that book was for.
Exactly. And that's what I said. I said, hey, dude, what the fuck, right? And it's like, ship me like a fucking free sample, like something.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, that wasn't what the book was for, this and that. And he said, hey, dude, yeah, no, you said in the book that I can use it, give you credit, not give you credit, this and that. And I was like, you're a tattooer. You are capable of like making a design yourself or changing this design or just tracing the design with a thicker line, something, right?
Or I feel like you're cool enough that if he would have reached out and been like, dude, I love this design. Can I use it as my logo?
I'd be honored.
Been like, yeah.
Yeah. It would be a difference of being honored and not feeling slighted. You know what I mean? And so he told me, no, I've already changed it. I was just in a pinch. I needed to print something. So I just printed that thing for this first batch, but I already changed it, this and that. And it's like, that's different because now you're making money off the thing. You're reselling the thing over and over and over and over and over. You're not just tattooing this thing
And
once.
now when somebody's looking at that logo, I mean, that thing probably doesn't even exist anymore. But now when someone's looking at that logo, they're thinking you. Like, it's like not, it's not fair. Yeah. Copying is, I guess it's a tricky game.
It is. But I think it's just like, I think the reason why I have the take I have is like, pulling from like old tattoos and making old traditional tattoos, that is the tradition that is traditional tattoos. So for me, I'm so much more okay with it, and I do think like my ego will get offended if someone wants to like take my thing somewhere else, if they were to ask, right? Because they think that tattoo is just imagery. It's not application. And I'm like, even if you take my thing to them, they're not going to put it in the placement I'd put it. They're not going to face it the same way I'd face it. They're not going to shade it the way I would shade it. Sometimes like I might shade like a new interest. I might find a new route in this tattoo. And that was because I just did it and the client loved it. And then the next client might be like, hey, I love how you shade this. Can you do it that way? And have to copy my old tattoo I did. And that kind of sucks because I'm like, they only got that because I was in the moment, I was free, and I started whipping it that way, and it was like, oh, that's a cool new route, So I kind of feel like even though I tattoo a lot of repetition, and I paint flash and tattoo my flash, it's kind of a given that is like, I'll stencil it on and anticipate to copy it the same way, but I almost always find a new little route or a new little thing or add a weird little crack to the skull, and it becomes something new. I can't even copy myself, Yeah.
Especially when you're looking at your stuff that maybe is only a year old and you're like, oh, I'm going to, since I'm printing this out, I'm going to change this real quick. Right. Or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. But, real quick, the reason I had brought up those tattoo tickets, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but somebody wanted to get a design that was, they purchased a tattoo ticket from another artist and wanted me to do it.
Right.
And when they brought it in, and then now I go to look at this artist's page, it wasn't even a tattoo artist. And I'm like, so we're just all out here selling tattoo tickets. What the, like, I don't even sell them, but I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, you should kind of just be honored that somebody wants to get your
I
work
agree,
tattooed
but also
on them.
I respect the hustle. Like,
I mean, at the same time, I definitely
don't enforce it. Don't expect it, but every once in a while you get someone paying that tattoo ticket on your big cartel, like, kind of sick.
To be honest, had they brought the design to me without the tattoo ticket, I would have been like, okay, cool, this person's not a tattoo artist, so I'll just do it.
I had a person, I had a client, Zach, and he paid for tattoo tickets from an artist in the UK. I would have mentioned
Was the artist a tattoo artist?
Yes, they were. I would mention them if I could remember. I do follow them. If I remember, I will like write their name here. They're sick. But
he's not gonna do that.
Yeah, I probably won't. This whole Premiere Pro thing is hard for me. So he's like said, hey, I purchased this tattoo ticket. Or no, I think he's like, I commissioned him this flash and I told him with the intention to get it tattooed here in the States. And he was totally cool with it. So I paid him money. He made these paintings. I want to get them tattooed. And to be honest, it was really fun. Like I used like a 10 hollow because it was really thick. And I was like, that was kind of fun. I usually wouldn't have used a 10 hollow. Now I'm not going to mention the person's name for sure because there were some parts in the design that were a little bit tight, where if you were to tattoo with that big of a line and you anticipate how it grows over time, it was kind of bad design. Where if it was being asked of me, I would have redrawn it a little bit more open or used a little bit smaller of a line. But because that wasn't asked of me that day, it was asked of me to try to replicate this person's art in good faith. Then it was like, cool, I get to kind of like try to do that today. And I wouldn't even really do it like that today. And it gave me like an appreciation of that work after I finished that tattoo that day that I didn't have previously looking at it prior. And then I looked at that person's Instagram and I was like, I kind of like their stuff. And I felt like I understood it a little bit more after putting my hand to it, when prior I wouldn't have even looked twice at it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of times with tattooing is that you might be asked to do a tattoo and you're like, oh, you know, and then you have to really like put yourself to the task, and then it ends up being your favorite tattoo you ever did.
Or you learn something that you start to apply to your own work, or going into it closed-minded, you were like, this shit is fucking whack. I'm just going to go through the motions.
Yeah, and you can only really learn that stuff. Like, your eye isn't that watchful. It's tunnel vision. You just see image. Like, you're not seeing, like, the nuance of, like, how the hair flows. But when you trace it, you start to really go, oh, shit, this is a cool move. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah. My podcast co-host was put in a position where somebody brought him a tattoo of another artist. He reached out to the artist and was like, this person will not let up. They really want me to do it. Are you okay with it? And the artist said yes. They're like, but you have to use this needle. You have to use this. Blah,
I kind of like that.
And you do? Because I was
do.
like, I would have been like, bro, never mind then.
That's fair. Never mind then.
Like just, and I would tell the client, you know what? You should go to them because they're protective of their design, which they have every right to be.
I'm with you.
But I would have been like, dude, I'm not.
Both are absolutely true. Like, I mean, I would have almost liked it more if that guy from the UK said that, like, hey, bro, I use this, that. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to put on.
But he didn't say I use this. He said, you have to use this, and this. If you're going to do
that
it,
shit's corny.
You're going to do it right.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're like, and I think that artist too, once he felt those feelings spark up of control, he could have and should have just been like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with my designs.
I think that's fair. And I think it's like, you have to be okay with like going to an artist and getting that artist applying that thing. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that like I'm getting like if you did watercolor paintings and I wanted you to paint me a commission of my dog, but I want you to make it look like you did it with acrylic, I have to be okay with you doing a watercolor version of that thing.
Yeah.
I can't ask much more. Like, you have to know where you're going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It gets a little bit silly. At that point, if you value it that highly, go to that fucking artist, you know?
Yeah. That's what's so funny, though, about this is, like, we're all like, okay, so this person, too, that I'm talking about, I won't name them, but it's somebody that we mutually know. And, but, so we've all pretty much grown up tattooing in Southern California and stuff. But you can talk to somebody literally in the station next to you, and they have such a different opinion and feel so strongly about the same art form or whatever, right? Like, just us with this whole copying thing. Like, you could talk about this for days, and if we brought a third person in here, they could probably give a whole nother spin on it.
That's
I love
true.
that. Like, you could talk about tattoos forever.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that maybe the reason I haven't gotten sick of it. Like, because it's like you can never really figure it out, and it's like it's endless, you know?
And what you feel today, or like probably what you felt at the beginning of your career that you thought, oh yeah, I totally agree with this fucking grumpy ass old timer. And then like growing up a little bit, you're like, no, that was a little bit of a stretch or whatever.
Yeah. But you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay. You can't be like, you can't be too like set on any ideas. You got to be okay with change. That's growth, you know? I mean, it goes both ways too, though. You could progress, but you can also regress a bit too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because you've definitely seen artists that have become hardened or spiteful or just bitter because things aren't going their way or whatever their reason is. You know?
I find myself teetering and becoming that guy. And I actively am like self-aware enough and making strides to not be that guy. Because I don't want to be like, I mean, even with, like I said earlier, like I had a real hang up on making a vertical video, like, because I was so like, no, videos are this way, you know what I mean? Or I didn't want to use TikTok for a long time because I'm like, no, go watch me on YouTube. And it's like, I don't know. You don't think you get to pick. And it's like, I want to adapt and change. I don't want to be complaining and be left behind, you know?
Yeah. And social media as a whole, I think that a lot of artists are feeling this way where you don't want to have to play the game. You don't want to play the game. But it's kind of like,
yeah,
that's what it is now.
I think the unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in as artists too is that we have to be okay with maybe you did have a moment. Maybe you did write that hit record in 1980 and now it's 2000 and you're playing the hits. Or maybe no one remembers the song. Like as an artist, you have to keep producing. You have to keep showing up. You can never be like, I did this. I used to do that. Back in the day, you have to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. That's the hardest thing about our job is that you never get to like, with other jobs, you have like a ladder. You work this long, you move up to this position. Work this long, now you're the manager. Work this long, your retirement. Tattooing, you never make it. You can be tattooing 15 years and you're sitting next to someone who's been doing it for 2 years and you're waiting for the same walk-in today.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the hard thing for most artists, that they want their time to be worth something. But you have to love tattooing at its worst. And that's what the apprenticeship teaches you that people forget, right? They think, no, I've been at this long, I'm owed this.
Yeah.
Or no, I do this. And I think people that think like that are kind of mistaken. And I think the time we're in right now is humbling them and they're now quitting because they can't adapt or they're not willing to retract or they're not willing to lower their standards that they've created for themselves.
Yeah. I think that right now, like a lot of artists, and they have every right to do this, but they're charging these day rates or these half day rates, right? And good to them or good for them. Like, and I think people are seeing that on social media and thinking, oh, that's making it. Like, that's where I want to be. But like, you have to, I think we should all just remember that somebody trusting you to put your drawing or any drawing on their skin, on their fucking skin forever is an honor in itself. Like, if somebody has commissioned you to do that, you have made it.
Yeah.
Like, whether you're getting 1 million appointments a month or sometimes it's slow and you're getting, a couple a week. Like,
yeah, sometimes tattooing is making it because that's what being a tattooer is making tattoos.
Like, think about it. Like, that is a crazy thing. Like, it's cool when somebody buys your shirt, but like, I think we get desensitized to the motions of tattooing someone every single day that it's like, you forget, like, these people. I've had clients that die, and to think, like, dude, my shit is still on them is...
It's huge.
That could keep me up at night, yeah.
One thing that I'll get on, like, my coworkers, you'll have the same, like, small talk. Like, so what else are you doing today? And they're like, I saved up. This is the day. Like, this is the event. But to him, it's a Tuesday. And it's like, no, like, they said it was their birthday. They came here. That's their whole paycheck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can forget how special this is. You know?
That is so true. We had someone on the podcast recently that was talking about how people often get tattooed when they're either really sad or they're celebrating something, and we get to be there for both. And I think you're right. Like, you should kind of be mindful because there are people that, or you should be mindful because there are people that they save all year for this one tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're like, where are they at? Come to me again. It's like, when's the last time you paid for a tattoo? And it's like, oh, I don't get tattooed anymore. They hurt. And it's like, okay, you can't say shit then.
This is like kind of similar, but recently Cardi B, she just let out an album and she had posted like for everyone to go buy. I don't know where people are buying albums anymore, but she had posted for everyone to go buy it, and then a couple of days later she retracted it, and she was like, I can't believe, she's like, I am so far removed, I didn't realize how much fucking rent is these days. If nobody buys my album, I'm completely okay with it. Like, I feel like such an entitled little bitch like that.
Wow.
I had told you guys to go spend your hard-earned money on on music that you could stream, you know? And I was like, that's so commendable.
That's a cool take. It's kind of like the artist back in the days, like, download our shit off LimeWire, we don't care. And it's really because no one's buying their shit. But I mean, it's a cool hill to fucking die on. It's a cool place to be. And you don't want to be the other guy. Like it's funny, like, you know, that whole Metallica thing, like Lars Ulrich was like against all the streaming, and people now are like, what a dick, money hungry. It's like, no, that's his hard work. That's his art. It's his property, and it's being like stolen. And people can't put themselves back in the time period where you made an album, you sold an album, and that's how you made money, right?
Yeah.
Now everything's free. So people think, oh, what a money hungry guy. And it's not necessarily true. You know what I mean? It's just, we now no longer value physical media. We can't articulate a time when you had to pay for it.
Yeah. I know, that's so crazy, huh? But I mean, as much as, I obviously want people to come in and get tattooed, like, I'm not going to have an attitude with my clients that they're nowhere to be found sometimes,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
It's just the name of the game.
Okay, so I think this kind of circles back a little bit to what we said about copying. How do you feel about, like, can you separate the art from the artist? And is that a valid excuse in going to a different artist to rip something?
I might get in trouble for this, but I absolutely can.
Yes.
Because you know what? Songs rip sometimes and the person sucks.
And sometimes you don't even know the words. You're mumbling a chorus that doesn't even exist.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's a song it's one of those songs that you've known your whole life and you have no idea what it says or who even sings it, but you know you like it, you know.
I appreciate your honesty, because I feel like we develop our own relationship with art where it's not really about the artist. We're selfish in it, right? Like that song could be some gangster song about blah, blah, blah. But no, that song is like your anthem to 6th grade. And when you look back and listen to that song, you remember 6th grade.
Yeah.
That is your song. You own that song.
I don't think about Diddy and Baby Oil.
Yeah.
I think about 6th grade.
Yeah. And sometimes if you think about both, that's okay.
Well, have you ever heard of the book what is it called? The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
No, but I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's actually a kind of a hard read because the guy tries to speak writes conversationally, but he's not very funny, but thinks he's funny. But anyways, the message is that you only have, your tank of fucks is only so big. So some things that really matter to you take all your energy, and I can't possibly give a fuck about, maybe like I just don't have it in me to skip a song about that comes on, you know, with Diddy in it or whatever.
Right.
But I really feel passionately about Palestine, you know, and maybe this person, they have some other life experiences that they really give a fuck about, not listening to abusers and shit like that. And both things are completely okay. Like, so the subtle art of not giving a fuck isn't so much not giving a fuck. It's giving fucks to things that are more important
I like that.
Demand your more of your attention in your life. Because I'm not saying that like, oh, this fool rocks and I'm just, you know, fuck him and his victims. Like, it's still fuck him. I feel for his victims, but sometimes shit's just on my playlist that I'm not going to sit down and now delete anything when that's problematic, you know? Yeah.
No, I like that. You're redirecting your attention in a way that I like that. I like that a lot.
Like, so I do give a fuck. I just don't give that big of a fuck to, you
or
know.
maybe it just, two things can be true at once, you know?
Yeah.
I also like, okay, that's where you give yourself permission to not feel bad about illegally downloading the album or bootlegging the shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, okay, let's say there's a tattooer that you love their work, comes out, they're garbage. Maybe your client loves their work and they want to get this exactly the same. What do you do?
When a client brings me a tattoo by another artist and they're like, I want exactly this.
Yeah.
when they don't budge on it, after I give them all my reasoning, I'll do it, but I just won't post it because I believe that artist should get the glory, that their posts should, attract people to go get this thing from them again and again and again. So if somebody...
So that's a cheat code. Do it, don't post it.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
Know?
Yeah. I think it's a fair perspective because, I mean, it's unavoidable in what we do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And there's some people that, they got something in their mind and it could be something dog shit, but they want it. And there you go, doing this whack ass tattoo. Now, as far as the abuser goes, yeah, I'm fucking doing it, dude. Tattoo
It's hard because if it's like an abuser, I almost want to be like, well, I want to change it a little bit so it's not so much of theirs because they are kind of, but then I'm not separating it fully. I have to be okay with separating it fully.
But also, too, I mean... chances are a lot of these old timers and these designs that we are replicating came from guys that probably didn't have the best relationship with respecting women.
Yes.
I've been a girl in tattoo shops since the early 2000s and it was rough then. So I can't imagine what it was like back when women weren't in tattoo shops,
It's interesting. You think that like maybe younger tattooers are maybe more privileged for the time they came into tattooing, they can't relate. Maybe the younger, newer tattooer can't separate. They're never in the position to even be around and have to exist with other people that don't think like them.
Everyone wants to say something right on the internet. Like they don't want any kind of...
Have you seen that clip where it's like in New York City and the cop has like a turban on and the guy says something about the turban? He's like, it's not a turban. It's he's like, what is it? Where's he from? And then he's like, and he's trying to stick up. He thinks that's like a bad thing. And the cop like laughs and says, it's a turban I'm wearing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And it's all...
But it's like the guy's heart was in the right place. Like it was, he was just out of place. You know? Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So then, so how do you end up like, you're hopping shop to shop and you're in Orange County pretty much... I guess from All Hallows Inc. How do you end up getting like the studio with Jimmy? How did that come about?
So, okay, from Fullerton, I go to a shop in Whittier that no longer exists where I met James.
Okay.
And I ended up leaving there because one of the artists, he put his hands on our female apprentice. He was a fucking dick. He spilled a beer on... This is what women used to deal with, or probably still do in a lot of shops.
Yeah.
He spills his beer on the floor while she's... and tells her to clean it up because he's all fucking wasted. He was a drunk. She turns around to go get the mop without saying anything, without saying she heard him or anything. He snatches her back by the back of her fucking hair. And I was fucking livid. And I was like, he goes... or I go. They're like, I don't even think I said like that. I was just like, he goes now.
No, that's like, pretty fair line to draw in the sand.
I was like, he goes now. And they're like, we understand, but we need the money. So I took the apprentice.
That must have been like the best, like out of all the times like quitting, that must have been one that felt right.
Yeah, it did. I was like, even talking about it now, I'm like, oh, I'm getting all shaky. Yeah. So me and the apprentice, my friend from All Hallows was managing that tattoo shop. So I took her and we went back.
Yeah.
So then eventually we both go our separate ways. So that's why I left that shop. I tattooed at Mi Familia in Anaheim for a little bit. And then I ended up back at another shop in Pico Rivera. I'm like that tattoo artist. I know.
Full circle, huh?
I moved like every 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And I start working with James again, and then the pandemic happens.
Oh, shit.
So I was there for a couple of years. The pandemic happens. And admittedly, I was so fucking scared of COVID. From the beginning, the shop that we were at, they were like, this shit's fake. Like, even before the whole mask and no mask, camps were built.
They already decided their take on it.
They were already decided that, we're not closing. If you don't want to come to work, don't come to work. We're not wearing masks, whatever. And I think that shop, if I would have, talked to them and been like, hey, I feel uncomfortable. I want you guys to wear masks. They would have, but if you don't believe in it, you're not going to keep wearing them, and that's no shade. That's just how it is. If it's not important to you, it's not important to you.
Different priorities, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so my parents are high risk, so are James's. So we kind of were just like, I was kind of already looking to move because I was still on
2.5 year point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's funny because my relationships usually last that long too. I even had a marriage that lasted 2.5 years. But I was already kind of looking to move because I was on percentage and I was just paying like way too much that I was like, I couldn't afford my own shit, you know?
You were just over it. You were ready for the next thing.
Yeah. So that it like all kind of aligned, and I went to go tour a private place. And I told James, do you want to come look at it with me? And if you want to jump ship, you can too. If not, because we were already fucking buds at that point. If you want to come with me, you can. If not, you can stay. Like, I'm doing this either way. So he came and he was like, it felt like the right move for him. So we fucking bounced. And so it was during the first closure that we signed the lease. But what was cool is this place didn't charge us rent till things reopened. So we took
like a year?
Well, from the first opening, right? Because it was like 3 months and then an opening, then it was down again.
Okay.
So that whole 3 months, we just painted the shop. We hung everything. We got what we needed.
Wow.
It was just like, it was like the best time. Like, well, it was a terrible time for the world, but it was like just the best time. Like things just aligned perfectly. And then when it was opening again, like the world was opening again, we were ready to open.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
That's cool. How'd you come up with the name Dreamland, right?
So, yeah, Dreamland became a thing because when the shop that we were at, we had switched locations to what used to be a party supply, and it was called Dream Shop. And the owner took forever to put our sign up. And so for the longest time, it said Dream Shop. But James would always fuck up and be like, yeah, it's in the building that says Dreamland. And then, like, the more he said it, we were both kind of like, that's kind of a sick name. And we were telling the owner, you should rebrand. We should be called Dreamland. He had no interest. So when we split, it was just like.
That's cool. Pretty natural then, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Everything just kind of lined up. And then here we are now, 5 years later.
And so now we find ourselves in kind of still an odd time where, like, I feel like the pandemic era was like the worst, best time for anyone that was creative. Like, it was like a time of uncertainty, but it was a time where people rallied to support small business and like people had extra time, they had extra funds. So although you thought it could end tomorrow, ironically, you were kind of living every day like it's last, and it was kind of great, you know?
Yeah.
And it was great because you didn't know that it would last, but we find ourselves on the other end of it, and there's just a bajillion new tattooers since it because people are like, I've always wanted to try this. I try it, you know, and now we're in a market that it's fair to say is oversaturated. The economy's not good. And you went from one hard time to another hard time. How is tattooing like privately now? Like, do you find yourself like, fuck, maybe I need to do walk-ins more? Or is it make you like, is a 2.5 year itch happening at 5 years, or how's it feeling?
No. Okay. So I do find myself needing access to walk-ins because even though things have been going well, I'm not booked out as far as I typically am, and that scares me, which is why I took my friend up on this offer of doing the every other Sunday walk-ins, just in case, you know. I went the other day and I pulled a 0, but it was cool because I was like, fuck it, I'm going to paint while I'm here.
Yeah, it's a nice hang.
So, yeah.
And that thing right there might have been the thing to push you to paint, because if you're on your own time, you're like, I'm going to go home or whatever.
Yep, and you know me, I'm painting. I'm like, I got to stop thinking about it like homework. But
yeah.
So, yes, there has been the itch and I see the need and the beauty of the walk-in. But as far as the industry being oversaturated, I just don't look at it like that. Like when I started, I wasn't the only one that picked up a machine because I saw somebody on TV do it. Like it did, like that opened my eyes to like, wow, like I could actually tattoo instead of just draw on my notebook.
Because you started in like a boom in its own right as well.
Boom, dude. And none of those, me and one homie that apprenticed around that time are still tattooing.
So do you look at it like, okay, we're in another boom. I've been through a hard time before that boomed. I'm just going to sweat these fools out. I'm good?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I've seen the down before. No matter how down it gets, I will still
be a down ass fool.
I will be a down ass fool with my high ass socks. And that's just what it is. And these other people are going to freak out, and they're probably going to put down their machine. If you look on OfferUp right now, tell me there's not a million rotary machines that probably came from people buying them during the pandemic, you know?
That makes sense. I feel There's a little glimmer of hope. I like that. I found myself okay, but I've never had certainty in this craft to begin with. Like I started tattooing with the assumption I would never make money anyways. And so I don't know, things just seem to be getting better and better and better. And so I'm expecting things to get worse. And when they get worse, they'll still be better than they were before. And I'm okay with it.
The thing about tattooing is it's not just learning the craft itself. And even if you perfected the craft or got good at, doing it, it requires such tenacity, especially in the hustling aspect, that not everyone's cut out for it. There's days that I'm like, I don't fucking feel like I could have a picture that is ready to post and I just don't feel like fucking doing it,
Yeah.
So not everyone's going to be cut out for it. People are going to fall off. The money's going to get better again. Then there will be another probably, dip in our, and that'll be a scarier one because we'll now be probably in our 50s or late 40s, but whatever.
Maybe we'll be in a position where we won't have to tattoo as much then, or that's a scary thing. Aging and tattooing is scary because it is like a young person's game.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would like to be, like Rick Walters, die with the machine in my hand, damn near, still posting. Remember, he would still go to the shop and like post like,
come in and get
a big eagle. Yeah. And like, I want to be able to do that, like my dream would be to have enough money saved or enough money coming in that I'm not even sweating price of tattoos. I'm just like, I want to do this. I'm posting it. What you got on it? Come in. Let's do it.
I like that. Yeah. Then you get back to the passion of like, this is just, you get to have the expression. Because I feel like as artists, we don't actually get to play artists that often. We're not really freely expressing ourselves. We're freely expressing ourselves within the parameter. We're really like selling that client's expression of what they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're kind of mirroring them to a certain degree.
I recently just posted a back piece and I was like, who's down to get this back piece? You have to get it as is. And people messaged me and then I told them the catch was you have to get it as is. I'm only going to charge you $100, $50 to $100 a session, but it has to be done. You have to come in every 3 weeks and you have to prepay for the session before it. And we're going to knock this out. I told him it's probably going to be 3 to 6 sessions. And if you're down, the back piece is yours. Because I really wanted to do something large scale. And
Did
I
it
think
happen?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I knocked out the line work. We have another session lined up in the next couple of weeks. And
I pray for you because the first session is the hardest. For them.
Yeah, she sat well, but I was like, fucking shoot me. Because, like I had to keep like reminding myself. It was kind of nice not having the money hanging over me. But once it got to like.
It started to feel like work at a certain point.
Right. Especially, the female abs or back and torso is real stretchy. So you get into these parts and I was like, this is a lot of work for this $100.
Yeah.
But
humbling.
But my thing is, hopefully by doing this, putting it out there, and I only did it on my stories, now the post no longer exists. Hopefully someone's gonna be like, hey, she does sick back pieces. I want a back piece. Yeah. And then like hopefully it's also tied into they have to come back for it, which not everyone comes back, but
man, they don't. I think look at it like as an investment in yourself.
And it was something that now that the line work is done, I'm going to have so much fun doing.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like work once you really get going. And since this person doesn't have to worry about, I only have enough money for 3 hours, I get to go as long or as little as I want.
True.
And
you don't feel guilty as you're like, yo, you know the deal.
If I want to take a break and eat a sandwich, I could do that. And the colors are going to stay the colors that I made the design. But I do have to give Jimmy credit for this because he just did it and that's what gave me the idea. I guess he was told that another artist did this because they were like this close to quitting tattooing and they're like, I'm just going to tattoo what I want. They did these like 4 large scale back pieces or something. And now like their tattoo career has kind of been reborn and they're only doing large scale.
Oh, wow. I think that's fair. I think what I would do different is I would charge more.
Oh, baby. The next back piece ain't going to be this price. I'm telling you that
charge more. And I would do like, what I would do is I'd probably charge it all up front. I'd be like, okay, $1,000. And then
I hate that though, because I need to get paid at the end of my sessions.
I know, but the thing is, they don't. You need to give them incentive to where they need to come back
Yeah,
for more
that's true.
sessions.
It's
So
like
if
they have
you-
a large ass deposit. But
yeah.
really
So
it's the payment.
just look at it like you're doing it for free, because it kind of is,
It
right?
kinda is.
So you'd be like, yo, $1,000, and then the sessions, you have to rebook, blah blah blah, whatever. But it's like you got paid if they don't come back.
Yeah.
And if they keep coming back, then good. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just think that I would say for every 10 back pieces I start, I get to finish 6 of them.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. It is expensive. It does hurt. And a lot of times the first session what scares them away, or they don't take care of it when it's large saturation areas. Like, it's just, they undermine it. And it's like, I think that they have to know that this is the most biggest, most expensive, most hardest tattoo they're going to get, and be okay with that. And I don't know. I wish you the best. I've hooked up homies with big stuff, and they just don't value it as much. They don't take care of it as much. And I just think that you need that you need to hand over that money to create that literal value.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the reasons why I didn't reach out to a friend and be like, hey, let me do a back piece on you. I specifically waited for somebody to DM me about it, and I waited for it to be a client that I like. It wasn't.
That's cool.
Yeah. There were some people that were like, oh, like,
and if you kind of know them, they like your stuff. They've paid you before. You're like, all right, I'm hooking up someone who's already been supporting me.
Yeah.
It almost feels like a raffle, like hey, client giveaway,
Yeah, and this person is somebody that I've tattooed so many times. She's followed me from location to location. I haven't seen her in about a year.
That's awesome,
but
man. It's going to the right home.
It feels good. Like, I feel happy with the person that's getting it. But the next back piece, it's still going to be a steal, but we're going to have to
crank it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Supply and demand. If you're not doing a lot of back pieces, you got to give one away, and then you do a couple more, and it's like, okay.
And then hopefully after 1 or 2 more, I'll stop this and just get ripping back pieces.
But that's what's necessary. Like, that's a part of the hustle. You know what I mean? That's part of the hustle. And like, if you're not willing to do that, then we're not gonna be tattooing very many backs, I suppose.
And I don't think that a lot of people are willing to do that, especially like back to the whole boom of tattooers. They see dollar signs, they see these day rates, these half day rates.
Well, they started tattooing not because they're interested in tattooing, but because they're interested in what tattooing could offer them.
And because it
was a job. It was like, wow, I can have money or have a car. They saw a tattoo guru giving tattoo
driving a
marketing
Maybach
advice.
Or
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
we didn't see that.
I don't know when tattooers became rappers for real. Like, I mean, that's so fucking wild to me, because we're at the end of the day, we're fucking art nerds, you know, like.
There is so much shame in the game right now.
Yeah.
Before, people would be like, no, I'm not going to do that. And now people just fucking do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, changed.
It's a wild time. I think the original person to blow it up was, we saw Kat Von D driving a Bentley on TV, and then everybody was like, "Ooh, I want that,"
Right. Yeah, I think we're entering a phase of tattooing where it's like, to piggyback off of that same era, I would say like Bam Margera, like, he wasn't really the best skateboarder, but you saw his skateboards everywhere. And it kind of became apparent that like skateboarding wasn't a sport, and that it was an art form, and art is opinion based, and he's not selling boards because he's the best, but because, I don't know, people like him and they'll support him, they'll buy him. And so where we're at in tattooing right now, like the craft of tattooing, it's kind of becoming secondary, and the marketing is becoming primary.
Oh, absolutely, dude. People love an internet personality, because we've seen people that are like, or we've heard people talk about, oh, have you seen this person's tattoo? They're the best. And you're like, they're actually not. They're just like so good at this social media game. It
would be like a not funny comedian that has a podcast who like has Netflix specials now.
Or these people that...
Because people like them,
I watch a lot of comedian podcasts, and I've heard them talk about people that get big off TikTok, and then
or crowd
all of a sudden,
work, right?
boom, they have, we all know who that is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they have special after special, and the ones that have been grinding for years are kind of like, what the fuck?
But to look at it both sides, I can't knock, like, your window is so small and likelihood of success is so short. If you could milk it for a few years and get out, like, I respect someone that could put themselves out there like that. You know,
like get out of,
like, let's say you want to do, like, let's say you're a musician and you're going to sell out and make this whack album. Like, what's the likelihood you're ever going to have an album become like commercially successful?
Yeah.
Or like, let's say you're a comedian and like, you know, people like you more for your podcast or because your crowd work. So are you going to do like the thing where you're going to be like, nah, I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to do
because
right.
these people might think poorly of
Yeah,
you.
because at the end of the day, like, who's watching your comedy, who's supporting your comedy? It's like with tattooing, right? There's a lot of younger tattooers who are trying to sell themselves to tattooers and not to their clients. They're painting flash to appease the follower, not the client.
Or
you know
making
what I mean?
the TikToks ripping on clients.
Yeah.
When you're like, you need them.
And at the end of the day, like, the tattooers that think you're funny, they're not getting tattooed by you. No. And the clients, like, who are seeing that, they're now no longer getting tattooed by you. You have to just put yourself in a perspective of like, it's okay to exploit yourself, but like, you want it to really benefit you, like, on a level that you could benefit from.
Yeah.
You know? I think sometimes it's working against itself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I don't think you should ever hold yourself back just because you think you might not be living up to rules someone else made, but...
So, what was I gonna say? So how often are you doing the Budcast now? Are you doing every single week?
Still every week, yeah.
Damn.
Every single week.
How many episodes?
We are now at tomorrow. Or wait, on Tuesday we're releasing our 59th episode. We've never skipped a week.
Damn.
I know.
Have you almost skipped a week? That's hard to do.
We have actually.
Oh, but you had a little backup hanging out ready, or?
So we try to. Right now we don't have any in the canon, so we got to build that up again. But a couple weeks ago we released a episode where my entire part was puppeted. We had
I saw that. I was wondering what was up with that.
We lost my footage. The file was corrupt, and so we didn't have any in the canon. Like, we didn't have any backup episodes. And
that's so much work.
The guy that was on it, his name's Dana. He's a tattooer in Montana. He had to, or like, I felt like we had to release this episode, and especially he grew up in the shop he learned at a shop that I worked at. So I was like, I really wanted to have this episode. So we went back and James played my part line for line, and I hid behind the couch and used this Muppet, and we kind of played into the fact I get so many mean comments about my voice online. People constantly are ripping on me, which is hilarious. So we made it like somebody had left a comment that I sounded like a Muppet, and so the opening of the episode was James being like, imagine I hosted a podcast with a Muppet. And then the episode played through regularly, but all my parts were just this fucking puppet.
That's genius.
We had no choice. We had to pivot.
Was it well received? Did people like take to
people thought it was hilarious, thank God. Because I was like, hopefully this lands.
Right.
But I'm sure if anybody watched the podcast for the first time, that time they're probably like, what the fuck is this? It's like ghetto.
You might be fucked because they might like want more of it. They might want him to be a puppet too, you know?
I know. We might have to do that.
The puppet niche is, I don't think any people are doing that right now.
So first we were like, fuck, can we get this animated? Like, I mean, the only thing that would be able to turn this out in time would be AI. Like, and even just looking for something, we were like, okay, what else can we do? And so that's where the
wow. I commend you for that. I've been doing this podcast for, I don't know, like since 2000 and maybe 17, and I'm only like 32 episodes in.
Yeah, but you have the whole vlog going on too.
Yeah,
like,
and that ends up being like a lot more work. Like just like in the act of like, the podcast is longer form, but the podcast is being carried by a conversation, whereas in the vlog, you're being carried by like scene changes and stuff. So a lot more has to go into like, if you are just filming stuff and you don't have a natural story arc, or it isn't that interesting, you're putting a lot of work into the editing to make it in an order that does make sense, or trying to find a title that doesn't fit, or trying to like, I'll film another day and put that on top of that and make that into one day. And it ends up being a lot more, and I find the podcast is easier. Like,
Absolutely.
it's easier for me to talk for 2 hours than it would be to put out 2 hours worth of vlogging content.
And there was like, I saw one of your, it was, I imagine it's a longer vlog, but I saw the TikTok version of it where you had been pickpocketed on the bus.
Oh, yeah.
Was it England?
Yep.
And I'm like, I was thinking about it in that, like, dude, not only is it already hard to make a vlog, but making one now after something so fucking terrible, you're like, so hey guys, here's my story.
Yep.
Like,
so in that,
but it's awesome.
Thank you. I post that exclusively to TikTok, so I'm glad you saw it.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I feel like I was like, I want to try to do both platforms. So I'd film myself walking my Airbnb saying this thing, and I'd film it myself on vertical afterwards and say almost the same thing. There'd be some clips I get with my phone that I wouldn't get with like my camera, or I'd film a tattoo wipe vertical and landscape. And I had enough footage where I could produce a YouTube version and a vertical version. And I put as much work into those vertical versions as I would a full length YouTube version, to where I still haven't put out the actual legitimate longer form full version, because it just took so much out of me to put out this freaking vertical version.
Does your program that you edit with have that thing where it like AI can follow you?
Yeah, but it just, the thing is, like, it feels like I used an AI tool to make it follow me. It's like,
I get that.
It's hard. Like, I feel like recycled content, it's just so hard to not make it look recycled. Like, punching in on something to make it vertical looks punched in to make it vertical, versus filming with the intent of it being vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's a tricky one to do. The podcast is easier to cut in vertical.
Absolutely.
It's not too big of a deal.
And even that is sometimes you're like, fuck, the shot was too close, and now I'm like the vertical version.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, the content thing is hard, but I think that's a necessary, it's just like, it's the thing that we have to do to not blend in at this time. I think that our job just requires more than it ever has before.
Yeah, absolutely. And and a lot of people don't know the back end and don't appreciate the back end.
Does it make you watch like film differently when you read all the credits at the end? You're like, fuck, it took 200 people to make that celebrity look good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also like just pay attention to things now, like from the angle of an editor. Like I'm like, oh, like that was a sloppy cut, or the continuity from that shot to that shot was fucking garbage, you know?
Yeah.
Or even sounds like, oh, that could have been cut, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, dude, I know why people pay podcast studios so much, because they don't want to sit there and do this.
It's a lot of work, and it's like, it's hard because for most things of passion projects is that they don't make money, and so it doesn't make sense. And so it's like, that's a big, you see a lot of people, even people that do have money, start a podcast or start a YouTube channel. And it's like, are they going to do 10 episodes to, like, how many before they're, I don't want to say, like, it costs a lot of money, right? And it's like, at a certain point, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So like, you kind of, to succeed in it, you either have to be immediately successful to where it makes financial sense to take on that help to make it possible, or it has to be a real passion project that you dedicate real time to, that you're okay with not making money. Yeah.
But same with tattooing, you know, they pick up the machine and they might be good at it, but are they going to stand the test of time? Because it is a fucking test.
Well, that's the whole thing in the apprenticeship. I think that like built you for success. Like, if you could not make money for 3 years, you're not going to quit when you have a slow month.
Yeah. And that's what I try to tell people. So right now everyone's freaking out about it being slow. And I've been telling the crew, like, but you guys have to remember that, sure, it's slow again, but you are so much more of a better artist than you were the last time it was slow. You're a smarter person. You have, like, you know, more, I don't know, just like more financial knowledge at your fingertips. Like, you're better off than you were last time. This isn't going to be like last time if you don't let it, you know?
I like that. That's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just remembering that, you know, if I survived the last lull in tattooing and my tattoos looked how they did then, this time I'm going to be fine. The bounce back's going to be quicker and bigger.
Yeah.
So,
have you found crossover from the podcast to clientele, or is it mainly tattooers, or how's that kind of been?
I don't think so. But we have heard guests getting clients like, oh, I got a sleeve. Like one of our friends hit us up that they got a whole sleeve because somebody was watching our podcast and their shop is closer to where the person lives.
So that's cool. Okay, so there is like tattoo collectors or people interested in tattoos watching it, not just tattooers.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know, and I find that interesting too. And we try to be conscious of that, like to not talk too much insider baseball, like because sometimes we'll be going off on something like fucking contact screws, and we're like, people don't know what we're talking about. Let's move on.
Sometimes I have some clients who like they love their tattoo so much that they start being interested in the craft of tattooing, and I can relate to it. Where, I mean, you're on Instagram reel watching some guy do some concrete work and you're like, man, that's cool.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah, satisfying.
and then you want to know how they did it. You know what I mean?
Or it's like cooking shows. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to ever make a Wagyu steak, but you want
to know how they did it?
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, for some reason fun seeing someone else do it.
And you could do like the salt baby arm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I might pull one of those out, but that's as far as it's going.
That guy fell off, huh?
I know.
Yeah. Salt Bay had his time. Yeah.
Get him on the pod.
Salt Bay is probably available for the pod.
Yeah. You could, and maybe for a tattoo. You might want to get a little salt shaker. Right
little
here.
White dots. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just a bunch of white dots down his arm. Looks like dry skin. Like, what the fuck is that? That's funny. Okay. Well, I think that about calls it. I think I already filmed an intro to tell everyone to listen to Tattoo Budcast.
Please tune in every Tuesday. And go back. We have the episode with this guy on it.